Okay, with the kids playing in the background, I'm back. So, another question in this series to answer questions about people who are new to me or this research or to my channel that have come over. Steve from howtohunt.com has sent people over here, and I really appreciate that. And he's been promoting my book, which I really appreciate because there's a lot of good information in that book, and it kind of gives you what went on in the Sasquatch genome study and how people were treated, how poorly people were treated, the dirty tricks, and how some really good people had some really bad things happen to them, and how this Bigfoot community, Bigfoot research community, whatever you want to call it, these people are these people are just crazy, and it's just a cluster. And but I appreciate you being here. And a question I get asked a lot is, did they leave you gifts, or do they leave you gifts? Well, they used to, and they don't anymore because I don't seek them out or try to do anything. But yes, I have a gift box. Yes, they did leave me gifts, and like here's one of the gifts they gave me. This was laid out on a piece of moss. I don't know if you noticed, but it's perfectly cleaned out. And I don't know if if it's a crow or some sort of bird of prey, but there's that. They're fond of giving you bones. Rocks, of course. I did a thing for a long time where I had laid out rocks, and they do the 3-in-1 pattern, and I guess early in the research these two rocks were taken, replaced in about a month, and then a month later these rocks showed back up. And so these, they were carrying it around, I mean, they've done the feathers, basically at a feeding station, which on my earlier video, that's where you give them goodies and they give you gifts. And see, once you get that going, you set up in that was the way you did it, or was the accepted way to do it. And then you try to set up your cameras to catch them coming in and getting the goodies. Of course, they'd always do something to thwart that, but they'd still bring you goodies. And I guess it was thrown down beside, this is a bone that something gnawed on and ate that had flat teeth, and I just kept it. This was an accident. This is how I figured out how to get a natural way to get Sasquatch hair. I found this. There was a trail, and this was about 4.5 foot off the ground, and it had 4 or 5 hairs stuck in it, and it actually turned out to be Sasquatch hairs. But when I saw that, I started making these, because this was where a limb had fallen and actually done that. And so what I did is I started doing, making my own, and it worked. I've caught some hair in it. If you've got a trail that they were going down all the time, and it narrows them down, and I usually break it off pretty high where a bear won't, there's no way a bear could, do it and leave unless he walked over his stick, but the bear usually won't do that. But I would do it high enough that I knew that 99% of any of the animals that lived in the Smokies couldn't leave a sample. And I used to do the tape. I used to get hair samples. We'd take tape, and I'd do it. This is packing tape. I do it sticky side out. Use bacon grease in the tree for bait. There's actually still hairs in this one. This is quote Sasquatch hair. They exist. They're real and they exist. Here's another one. There's some more Sasquatch hair. So that's from a white one. I just never sent it in. It didn't really have. This one right here was from an apple. What we do is we take apples and put them up in the wise of the tree, and then we'd put tape around, and they'd reach up and get the apple, and it'd get the short hair off the. That's from his wrist probably. So there's just showing you to show you there's a muddy fingerprint from one. This was on the grease tree, and I just folded sticky side over sticky side, kind of made a laminate, and it was the end of his finger. There was another muddy finger. Anyway, but that's, so I guess yes, they have given me gifts. I kept a few. They gave me more. They've done gifts here at the house. These are some of these came from my front where they would sit them beside the truck. One they were trying to send me a message one time when I moved the dog food container, and they took about 10 feathers like this, and there was a crack in my driveway, and they set them all in the driveway with like up like that, and kept doing it. And I was like, what in the world? Oh, and there, for those that do the colored rock things, they brought me a colored rock. So Bigfoot is real. Bigfoot exists. These are some of the gifts. I mean, in my opinion, they're as intelligent as we are. And why they give some of these gifts, I don't know. They mean something to them, or they're, sometimes I think they're saying these stupid humans, they'll come down here and they'll give us food and we can give them some trinket, and they're happy with that. Bunch of idiots. So, I mean, seriously, I think that's, once I learned how intelligent they were and that they weren't a dumb ape, these things here almost, to me, is the joke on me, because I just really, I mean, they may mean something. I mean, I hope they don't have a supernatural or a demonic, satanic thing. I prayed, and I don't think there's any demonic attachment here. But so after that diatribe off into the spiritual world, I'll come back to say, yeah, they have given me gifts, and so there you go. They don't give me any more. No, they don't. One thing I will say, real quick, they have a signature. It's a 3-in-1 thing. I thought it was unique to me, but another fellow out of Kentucky and up in Ohio said they do the same thing up there. And they were, no matter what, they would make the pattern 3-in-1, and then they do it anytime. It's almost like a signature to say we were here, and it's a way to let me know that they were here without letting anybody else know. Because if you walk up and say, well, look, there's 3 Snicker bars together and one by itself, the Sasquatch came last night and did that, everybody'd say you're a lunatic. You need to be admitted. And so, but it's something they established. They established it in rock patterns early in my research, and it continued, and it continues to this day. Every now and then, and I'm talking every now and then, they will make a run through the neighborhood, and long story short, they don't come up to the house, but they'll come at the back of the edge of the property, or jump the fence and whatever. And I'll find, like last year when I was mowing, I found 4 sticks laying in the yard, and they were about that long. And what it was is, you say, well, a limb fell out of the tree. Well, the problem is each stick was the exact same length. It's about the size of my pinky, and it was about that long. And there were 4 of them. 3 of them were together in a straight line, perfectly lined up, dot, dot, dot. And then about 12 inches over was another one in line and the exact same size. All 4 sticks were the exact same size. Our backyard's totally fenced. No one knows about the 3-in-1 pattern except you. It's not. I don't think it's some neighborhood kid. But and that was last year, and I found it in rocks. I found it in candy bars. Found it coins. They've done it feathers. Whatever they have, they'll do it. So just a little tidbit there about what these things do. So so that's just a little tidbit about what these things do, what I've experienced. And like I said, they're extremely intelligent. Their ways aren't our ways, but they know what they're doing. Hope you enjoyed that one, and I'll be back for more.